there's all sorts of possibilities for consciousness that we have been
that you had not even considered.
Not even considered.
Right, and just as there are many different other aspects of the dynamic of consciousness, so the ability of earthly human beings, to expand their consciousness to a point of gaining so much more, and so much more wisdom, so much more understanding, so much more ability, so much more empowerment, so much more compassion, so much more empathy, so much more caring. So if you start to explore in this area, think of how long you've explored the negative in your world.
It seems like a long time.
How many thousands of generations you have only reacted to the dynamics of negativity.
Well, it's hard to even imagine a creative, safe, empowered humanity.
Peace begins with enough for all. Now, what does that mean? Well, you have to consider the dynamics. What does the physically, what does humanity need to live? Food, water, shelter, and if you add the dynamics of healthcare and education, you begin to take your first steps toward the dynamic of the advanced civilization that we speak of so avidly, so hopefully. But again, it begins by you imagining what that could mean. Begin with it for yourself. What would it mean if you had an equal start with everyone else? What would it mean if you didn't have to compete? We're not talking about the dynamics of striving for excellence.
That's different.
That's very different.
That's a question of bettering and becoming more within self. That's not a question of being more than someone else.
That's right. In fact, your world is all based on better than and less than.
Right.
You know, who's better? I'm better than you. You're better than me. This is better.
Well, that's the way it's been. But the hope is to change that. We have it within our mammalian brain to have an innate sense of fairness.
Yeah, and also an innate sense of collectivism.
An innate sense of collectivism. We see it when it shows up in our world even now. When there's a tragedy, all of a sudden there's this wave of unconditional love that will go towards people who have a disaster in their town.
And even that is being co-opted.